My name is Darren, and I'm here with Jennifer Tubbs, my English teacher, and I'm going to interview her about her activism in the environment. The first question I have for you is, what was it like growing up for you?
Yeah, so I grew up in a pretty small rural town in Texas, and so I grew up around, agriculture, and I think that was a pretty formative experience for me in terms of how I view the environment. And that is, I don't know, sad to look back on a little bit, to remember, you grew up in Texas, or you were born in Texas, so you may have even changed by the time that you were born in our different lifespans.
What are your opinions on urbanization?
Urbanization? Gosh.
I can kind of guess a little bit.
Urbanization, industrialization, the crux of that was just getting workers into factories, and there was a lot of inherent alienation, isolation from labor, and then also from their communities. So I'm a big believer in small groups of people working together towards a common cause. And
expensive.
True. So I guess I am kind of a fan of, going back to the land in a way. Yeah.
So how would you say nature impacts our everyday lives?
We see ourselves as separate from nature, when in reality we're all part of the same organism. So
what do you think are some everyday simple tasks people could do just to help a little bit with the environment?
Yeah, well, gardening, growing your own fruits and vegetables, reducing and reusing, those are great. However, I do think it gets, again, political real quick, because a lot of, it would be nice to just say, buy green products and recycle, but in reality, that puts the onus on consumers, on regular people like you and me.
So what are some ways that you help the environment?
Yeah, okay, so I am reviving the community gardens on campus, and that's really important to me because I think the intersection between environmental justice and food justice is right there. And I think that in order to help people who may not have a lot of access to fresh, healthy produce, with this community garden, which would obviously reduce CO2 emissions, and also give people access to quality organic produce.
That's also something that people on their own could do as well. People could start garden communities to help the environment and other ways as well from different areas.
And especially here in Alabama, where you can't find hardly any organic produce, and it's all been frozen and transported here. So I think the more we can eat locally, eat seasonally, either go to a farmer's market or have your own garden, the better off we're going to be. So eating local, I think, or even from your own garden, is such a huge benefit to the environment.
So do you also support the movement California is doing to get rid of regular use of gas-powered vehicles by 2030, I think they said?
Yeah, I think that one, I think we should divest, right, from fossil fuels, but in terms of implementation, I think that one gets a little tricky, but what are your thoughts?
I think California's jumping a little too far ahead on that, because 2030 is really not that far away, 8 years, and I feel like it's hard to start regulating use of electric vehicles over gas-powered vehicles. Since electric-powered vehicles are relatively new, their prices not necessarily the most affordable. The most affordable they get are hybrids, but they still use gas as well, and so that defeats the purpose a little bit of the environmental friendly, because yes, you are environmental friendly, but how much are you actually using the electric capabilities versus they definitely need better options for green public transportation. What do you think people could do in their everyday lives to help specifically clean oceans and beaches, since that is where a lot of our waste ends up going?
Called the Plastic Free Mermaid. I would highly recommend checking her out. She has a bunch of tips for so she's totally zero waste, carbon negative, the whole deal. And she lives in Australia, so her thing in particular is protecting the oceans.
One thing that I feel I have to say on the topic of, environment and over hunting is there has been a very large stigma against sharks because people view them as very dangerous, which they can be, but they also don't target people.
Right.
What do you think people can do from home to get involved in the environment and spread awareness?
Well, one direct action you can take if you're here in Montgomery is to take my class, English 1010, which will connect rhetoric and composition to food justice, and we will get hands-on experience in the gardens. If you're not here, then I think lobbying, advocating for change at the local governmental level. I think we have to take on the big problem, which are.
And at the very least, recycle and reuse. That's all.
Thank y'all.